Hi, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We are in FIWARE Academy and the University Roadshow. Thank you all for the participation. Today we have two important speakers from universities, Professors Massimo Villari and Professor Antonio Skarmeta. So I'm Tonia Sapia, Marketing and Project Manager in FIWARE Foundation, and before to start the session with these important professors, I will explain what is the university program and what we have in mind. So the university program, it's University Roadshow objective is to have a program designed to offer to European university and not only a backstage of services to enhance student skills and knowledge on open source technology and open data. Our goal is to provide a wide range of learning tools to contribute to the growth of the next generation of open source developers and give ideas for use cases and business opportunities. So what we have for the universities? For sure, we have a huge program for students, and any professor can grasp these benefits. Internship, for example, that we can offer also remotely. Thesis support for students, cooperation with for scientific publication, global promotion of the university program, participation on FIWARE website, social medias, and newsletter. A lot of opportunities to participate in hackathons and challenges, also virtual, where all the students can participate. And when we say students, we mention, of course, PhD students, master degree students, or who is keen on open source technology. So classroom, of course, or remote session. This is something that also we can do for professors. And these lectures and workshops can be of course, also physical when our life will back to normal. And what we offer in FIWARE is, of course, the networking, our global networking for students, universities, startups that we have in our community, and that's are also part of the FIWARE of the university world. So what the FIWARE is also provide services in terms of free tickets also for the FIWARE Global Summit, cooperation for scientific publication, and of course a worldwide networking with other universities of the FIWARE ecosystem. I will encourage you to go in our website where you find the Roadshow program flyer with all the benefits that we have for the professors of the university's words. What are our achievements and which are our next steps? Our achievements are related to the contacts, the university that's where we are already in contact, and these are more than 50, and they come from Europe, but also outside Europe. And we have already 10 universities that are planning the integration of FIWARE in their course. We are enough proud of this. We have already done for the University of Milano Bicocca and University of Trento additional virtual courses that we have already run, and they was a very successful for the students. They want to know not just about the FIWARE technology per se, but also they want to grasp the opportunity to have internship with us and also participate in our activities. And we also, it is important to take into consideration that FIWARE Foundation itself, but also the large company around FIWARE like NEC or engineering and many others can offer to the students also careers and job opportunities for the future. And in this workshop, we also explained these opportunities that we have for them. So regarding what we will do in the future, so we have already we will publish in July the next hackathons and challenges for our young developers, and these hackathons will be run also in fall time. And others will come also in the context of smart water. So please check out all our opportunities about the hackathons that we will offer in our FIWARE website. So in the previous section, we present the scientific advisory boards as a new FIWARE body of FIWARE Foundation, and indeed we encourage all the university to become a FIWARE associate member of FIWARE, and to in order to keep the opportunities to be part of this important body. And why we have a new why we have a scientific advisory board? For sure, to support the board of directors in its forward-looking decision, with the aim to contribute to shaping FIWARE technologies to scientific excellence. And of course, are part of the scientific advisory board experts in computer science and also related fields to advise in technology trends, adoption in such scientific concerns, adoption in different sectors. And of course, the scientific advisory boards, what are the contents or the context where they are much better put their expertise. Of course, it is the open source and citizen science, big data, context information management, standardization of interfaces, and the standard data models, artificial intelligence, blockchain, digital twin, quantum techniques, and any other with potential of impacting the FIWARE ecosystem. This scientific advisory board is composed by eminent professors that are, as I said, their university are associate member of FIWARE Foundation. We, of course, are proud to have this scientific advisory board on board. And we encourage you to all the university to be part of the associate members of FIWARE and be part also of this prestigious board that's for sure help FIWARE mission in the next objective that we have. So thank you very much, and I would like that Massimo Villari, professor from University of Messina. Massimo, do you hear me?
Very well. Very well, Tonia. It's my turn. I'm
yes,
going to share my
time.
screen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you to you for this introduction. I'm sharing with you the screen. Let me know if you see it. Can you see it, Tonia?
Yes, we can see it. Yeah.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback, because we are interacting remotely. Something's continue to be not easy, even after 1 year of this situation. By the way, we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So, according what you said, Tonia, and the vision of FIWARE, the idea is to remark the fact that universities are benefiting of this approach of FIWARE, and I can show you what is happening in my lab. I'm the responsible for FSR lab in Messina. I am also the responsible of the overall ICT in the university, and we try to push the people you see in this picture to make something really meaningful in the domain of research, because we are professors, but at the same time the main now our time is to make research, to make good research, international research, and for sure even European research. I put in some people in the slides because we have a big group with many of them that try to follow you in your vision, in what you are doing, and FIWARE is part of a story that I mentioned to you today in this situation. And I want to share you when and how and it is possible, repeat, to involve university in this perspective. You see that the scenario we are coming up in my research group is quite wide because many people, and we deal with IoT and edge computing is the future, but even machine learning, computer security. I'm teaching cybersecurity in University of Messina, but even big data analysis. We are going, example here, to start. We started already with a bachelor degree in English for the analysis. We are going for the future, the next year to have data science. We are collecting a lot of students worldwide. We're talking about 100 of these students. It's quite, it's really quite good. And also yesterday went out to the ranking, QS ranking that put Messina in, let's say, in under 500 university worldwide for the research. And we are proud about that. I repeat, we are doing something important. I want to remark it's a really old university, as you can see the age. It's more of 500 years ago. So we know something about cloud, but something that even FIWARE was started at that time when the cloud was created. We were talking about roughly 2007, 2008, but even we're moving towards edge computing and IoT. It's something that, repeat, university has to deal with in computer science, computer engineering for the near future, it's something to practice. And as Tonia said, essentially in the area of smart city example. We introduce another paradigm, the name of osmotic computing. It's something that we invented, let's say, here in Messina, but also in Vienna, in Cardiff, and Newcastle, just to have this idea that you can move workload, offloading, and back from the cloud, the edge, and vice versa, repeat something really for the future. Why am I saying that, guys? Because it's very important to understand we are part of the story, and we are totally in on FIWARE. We have seen it at the beginning of the story and try also to shape it, participating to many projects, and it was something really important for the university. You see some interaction that we have thanks to the FIWARE. I want to say thank you to FIWARE for the ecosystem, for the networking, because it's really a brilliant idea, and continue to be really brilliant because you can interact with different companies, you can understand what is useful. In the area of smart city, you have this concept of municipalities, that's something it's not easy to get in touch, even companies. We are interacting a lot, I don't know, with the engineering here in Italy, but you can interact with the Siemens, with some other, the NEC, some other companies, Telefonica, and so on and so forth. It is really important for us. So municipality one side, other university, the other companies, just to provide some possible solution. And in the picture, you can see some really good example that my group participate, really meaningful. They learn a lot, my students, my PhD student, but also master degree student. We are looking at different scenarios like healthcare, blockchain. I'm teaching blockchain here in Messina, bringing also to osmotic computing, machine learning, and so on and so forth. Privacy and security is something very important, and repeat, FIWARE knows this and try to push a lot this perspective, participating in the European project in these domains. Okay, big data, also Tonia presented in this situation, and so on and so forth. We have also some patents, because repeat, we are trying to push a lot my students, by thesis, by possibility to have to foresee the future, to go in this direction. This is some recap of what I said. The challenge, it was the Vienna challenge that we won several years ago, and it was really a great idea, and I have to say thank you to FIWARE. Also some other projects like FIWARE and engineering and so on and so forth. Here are some projects that were able to deal with the FIWARE architecture, because FIWARE is a vision, FIWARE is an environment, FIWARE is an ecosystem, and we used it like the Lego approach to make something very interesting, scalable, and so on and so forth. In different areas, previously this application, you find it on Android and iOS. It's WhatsApp, you need to find books in Italy to exchange books. It's working very well. It's a FIWARE-based application, but we use it also for a smart meter. Some example I wanted to share with you, just to understand where we are going with the FIWARE architecture. Okay, repeat, in the area of research is a lot. Yeah, in Messina, some possible example. Some conference before the COVID, but even next year we starting moving forward. As I said, we have different companies, university, interaction, and so on and so forth. The people where we interact for smoke. So we are strongly interacting with the municipality because with the recovery plan, and recovery fund, there is a strong action on digitalization. We try to push the public administration to adopt new technology. It's something that we strongly believe. And they were able to help us in terms of some internship, some coverage of position PhD student. We are increasing a lot, 20 people almost or more, because we have a good relationship with the area. So Messina municipality, they are going very, very well, and we are proud about that. So let's go for the second part, just to understand how this idea of FIWARE can help us in this perspective. You see that the main component of FIWARE is becoming to be the concept broker, is something that allows you to collect of data in many scenarios. Industrial scenario, you can have industrial IoT, you can have health, but even the smart city. And repeat, in Messina, we have a strong knowledge about this. We know very well how to use it. Every time we have to do some things, we put it up and running quite easily. And this is really important. What I want to remark also the capability to be inside this kind of marketplace of Chef Digital, CEF, that allow you to be to have this kind of enabling parts, blocks, naming this way, it allows you to have a perspective, digital signature, some other workflows, and even the context broker was really important to have it. But I show you the slides also for, I said there are different categories where you can go, where you can make experience. This is what we are talking about, experience, guys. Concrete experience, concrete situations that repeat the students and master degree, bachelor degree, PhD student can make some experience very, very well. Repeat, we are quite happy in Messina to have it. Also the FIWARE solution, I presented a few of them towards the digital neighbor, towards some kind of open data, are there, are up and running, you can download them, you can use it. You can use it on-premise, of course, and you can play with all these blocks. It's something that we are really, really happy. As I said, we're trying to push the municipality in many perspectives. Why I'm presenting you these slides? This is from perspective of university. This work were conducted by PhD student or by master student in their thesis. Repeat, at the beginning was a challenge in looking for cybersecurity, in the case of water digitalization stuff, IoT, and so on and so forth. Repeat, the scenario is quite complex, but FIWARE helped us to come up with this, because all the slides, a picture you can see in this moment, this is the city of Messina with the network pipes that try to look at this kind of big data distribution on the water management. Okay, that visualization is important for any department of the municipality, but even a smart meter, for the smart meter you need blockchain because of currently trustness in this IoT. You see there are many things to put inside. Real scenario, existing file like AppNet, existing reasonings, but at the end of the day we use the FIWARE. This is essentially the idea. And the guys was able to understand a concrete example, thanks to use case of a municipality, and to use the FIWARE at the end of the day. Just allow us to make some modifications, some stuff to understand how you can work with open source stuff, because they're there, you can download and you can use them. And repeat, it was something really important for us to design the architecture thanks to the FIWARE and to use all the artifacts. As you can see, what is really important for us is having the broker, the context broker with security is really important, even for federation service. You see there, you put in place all the elements. It was, repeat, quite easy to have the architecture based on FIWARE and to put on top what is really well known nowadays in terms of HTML5, JavaScript, Mongo, Python, and so on, to go also towards big data, open data approach. Is essentially the picture that nowadays municipality is using. We already mentioned open data. Tonia mentioned it quite clear that there is some possibility. You go there, you go on on the marketplace of FIWARE. You can download. You're using a lot of engineering, Hydra in municipality of Messina, and even in one project I'm going to mention to you is named Urbanite, even for smart mobility. Repeat, you can apply the facility in any scenario. Before it was a scenario of water management. Here we're using for smart mobility, and repeat elements that are easy to use with a very useful API, open source, and open data. Okay, repeat, something that in Messina we are using very, very well with the Hydra, the hygienic enabler. You see also on the map at some point, it's a very interesting what is possible to show. Okay, the project just I mentioned, FIWARE was also useful for us as a university because allow us to participate in European projects in many opportunities, networking, know who's doing what, and put your effort. This is an example of H2020 project started last April 2020. Essentially, it's looking for creating an ecosystem for the municipality that can help them for a new urban mobility, urban transformation from many perspectives, not only mobility, but even in using the technology, because we have to, as a university, is mandatory. In Italy, we have the concept of terza missione. Okay, terza missione means you teach, you make research, but think your environment, think to the territory to grow it. Is what is really important. It's why we now have to do the networking stuff. This is why I like to have the FIWARE. FIWARE for us represents the pipe for worldwide distribution, and we try to land this technology here. And repeat, it's a really good, very good model that I want to propose to all of you. Continuing on Urbanite, just a few elements. Repeat, the public sector needs tools, need to understand how to use tools, how to make a decision by data. Repeat, this is the future. We know as a university, we are doing it internally in university, and we know it very well, but we have to push for the municipality, but also for other public administration, for the regional state, and so on and so forth. All this environment has to use this kind of stuff. Okay, repeat, to make it simple, make it policy and process. This is the consortium, just to give an idea. Repeat, the consortium that we were able to involve all the stakeholders also around the FIWARE. Repeat, FIWARE helped us a lot, and also we are trying to give any feedback. We make some modification, example, NGSI LED, we are using it, because we use and we improve. This is essentially the idea. Okay, and why this? Because we are looking for computation at the edge. This is the future computation at the edge. We move the load from cloud to the edge. And thanks to the idea of FIWARE, we modify it. An example, just to give you just for an idea, because university have to spine in some way. You see here the issue with the visualization, camera surveillance. The idea is to make a query on the field and to understand who's doing what. Remember, unfortunately, really bad situation with the BNet in this perspective. And we create a virtual device and a physical device using FIWARE architecture with some specific elements inside the model. We modify the model. Again, another example of open fast infrastructure relying on FIWARE. We are trying to improve it in this situation and using very good elements. One of these is NGSI LED. Okay, well, I'm going to finish. Repeat, FIWARE implementation. You see the context broker is used very well nowadays in the municipality, and we are using also some of the example. We use the cameras not only for surveillance but also for smart mobility, because you change it to the behavior ad hoc. It's essentially the idea. Repeat a few slides and then show how it works. Thank you. I finished my presentation. I hope it was really clear what I tried to Tonia to put in place, and if there is any question and stuff, I'm here totally available to give an answer. I hope I on time or a few seconds more.
Thank you, Massimo. A nice thing to highlight is for sure that in all these projects, all your students are involved, and this is the nice thing, no?
Yes.
Because
it's really nice. I have to say something to remark one thing, Tonia. They are desperate, just to be clear, because they want to make a thesis with this crazy professor, is Massimo, what they're doing, and then the day after I propose them the position because there is some money. And it's really important for them because they can make concrete stuff. If it is not easy, complex things they think, then they are happy, and this is what I like to do. Thank you.
Yeah, this is also a nice way to learn about FIWARE, no?
Of course.
Also see exactly how works the technology in real projects, and
exactly.
This is the nice, the right approach as well. So, Professor,
I hope this is right. It's my approach. I hope this is right.
Professor Skarmeta, please.
Okay, thanks. I'm going to share also my screen now. So, hope you can see it now.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so thanks. First of all, thanks for the invitation. So I think it's a pleasure to be here and also to present some of the work that we are doing in this case with FIWARE. Just to mention, I want to just to mention that in our case, as already mentioned, I'm a professor at the University of Murcia, in this case of the Faculty of Computer Science. So this faculty is already, have a couple of master degrees that already we have created during the last years. One in advanced in technology and computer science, another one in big data. I mention this because, as you will see later, we have created already several activities with the students around different courses that we have already on these masters, where basically we are trying to introduce a student with the use of FIWARE, how to and how also connect with some of the results similar that, as was previously mentioned, to results of existing project that we are already working on the context of using FIWARE on different scenarios. No? So basically, as I already mentioned, I want to show you two simple examples that we are doing. One of them is that related to the a course in pervasive system. Basically, that is one of the course that we have on one of the master, and the other one that we have in IoT and big data. So basically, what we already have tried in all these courses was to try to provide the students some concrete and practical, I would say, introduction to the use of, in one side, the use of sensors, but also at the same time how to get the information from the sensors so that they can be introduced to a data platform, in this case based on FIWARE, concretely, so that later they can do some kind of exercise over this data. In some cases, for example, depending on the course, in the one about pervasive system, they are more focused on application on verticals, if you like, smart cities, smart buildings, smart agriculture. But for example, in the case of IoT and big data, basically to the usage of the data in order to generate some kind of patterns, to do some kind of learning activities over the data, and then basically to interconnect also this data to external data sources in that sense. So to show also the potential of the big data possibilities that they can have using this context. So in all the different courses in general, what we try to provide them is an understanding, basically, of something that I already mentioned in the previous session about the scientific advisory board, is that it is not only the data what is important, but also how to manage the data, how to be able to create some kind of structural way to provide and integrate information coming from different sources on set, and also to work on the idea of interoperability. So the important thing is that it is not to go to a vertical scenario, but more about a different kind of a scenario where you are able to integrate solutions. And for that, you need some kind of a standardized way to exchange data, exchange information between all of them. So here you can see two of the typical examples that we mentioned there. Basically, we pursue inside the lectures also to work with the example of data interoperability based on the API from NGS-ILD. Also, how to work with the smart data models, or in general with data models that can be used on the different contexts that we already mentioned, agriculture or as buildings or some of this stuff. Also trying to bring our experience on how we already are using this approach on our own projects, as some of them you will see later of them. No? And then finally, how to use not only one component, one enabler, but also different enablers that we can have on the FIWARE ecosystem in order to try to solve different kind of solution. No? And for that, we present them very clearly some of the examples that we are already working. For example, in the case of the smart city, as already mentioned, we are collaborating with the municipality of Murcia, similar to what happened with Messina, no? In this case, but this is a project that was started like 3 years ago, basically to try to demonstrate how to integrate information from the municipality and how to use that information in order to provide different kind of services. So here we can basically, you can see some of the approaches that we already present them, and then so that they can also understand basically how to use this component. So the use of a context broker, in this case as enabler for data management, but how to manage short-term, long-term historical data, how to use open data, because one of the possibility to create innovation based on the ability of accessing data, and based on this data to be able to create new application, to do connectors with, for example, a geographical information system using Cygnus, and specifically in our case, because we are quite focused on the security part also, on use of solution for identity management, to access control solution, etc., etc. So basically, as I already mentioned here, you can see, for example, the scenario that we envision about the quarter information from the city, where basically we can provide several information about bikes, about buses, about the parking slots available, and so on and so on. The other scenarios already mentioned is where basically we try to demonstrate them that it's not just only to use the data, as already mentioned, but also to be able to generate new knowledge over the data. And one of the scenarios here is linked to a project that is called IoT Crawler, that where you can see below the architecture of the IoT Crawler, where basically we try to manage data, crawling data from the different sources, how this data can be managed through what we call a federated meta repository that basically manage the data representation, as already mentioned, based on the use of NGS-ILD, as just mentioned, and then over it to be able to create some kind of what we call semantic enrichment. That means to be able to manage the data, as you can see here, identify patterns, and based on this pattern, being able to generate new knowledge that later can be used to do some kind of predictive analysis over the data using different technologies, as you can see here, unsupervised machine learning, rule-based reasoning method. So basically, this is more focused on the lecture that I already mentioned regarding IoT and big data. So basically, we are trying to show them the complete path, no, from going to the data to the knowledge creation using some kind of learning and artificial intelligence techniques, no, that they can apply to the data. Okay, so that's an example of, just to show you here, an example that we have another project about, how to create, coming from smart parking. So to help, for example, based on the patterns, in order to identify the usage of the parking slot in the city, try to generate some kind of probability of finding a free slot on a certain period of the day, on a certain day of the week, and so on, no? Based on analysis of the data that we are able to get from the real parking spot of the city. And here you can see just basically an example of a final interface where the user can say, okay, I want to go from here to here that day. And some information about the free slots are being provided. Anyway, so for doing that, and now going to the practical part, here I showed you some example of a scenario that we provide to the student. Here you can see the example of a Raspberry Pi, basically, where with some kind of sensors that is going to be connected to a firewall, to an Orion context broker, and then where you can have a server that get the data in order to do some kind of processing in that sense. So here the idea is that we show the student how to register a sensor, how to update the information of the sensor data, like temperature, humidity, how to read the value, how to provide and to subscribe to a certain sensor information from a server in order to manage the data. So we give them this and with a collection of examples, predefined examples based on Python, where the student can get this information and starting from there, try to evolve for example, no? I mean, basically the simple examples that we give them, no? So we provide them some example of query, of using NGSI, for example, how to do the integration with other enabled like Cygnus. And with all of this, the students are able to create their own, I would say, evolution of the original exercise that we provide in order to generate some concrete tools, for example, depending also on their interest. Some of them just work on doing some kind of analytics, others work some more on the representation. So it's something that facilitates them to get in use with this kind of technology. No, here I put just some examples basically of the things, how to create, how to update, how to do a query, in that sense of the tool, how to manage, as already said, the sensors, get, for example, here you can see temperature, the situation of the room, the information from what already is available, and so on and so on. And then, as I already mentioned, also we try to make them aware of how to extrapolate, I would say, from the normal procedures in order to the use of the FIWARE. So FIWARE, as already mentioned, a component like Orient Context Broker allow them to get the data, to extract the data, but then the idea is how to manipulate, no? For example, how to transform the data to a normalized format, as I already mentioned, to use these different data formats, how to use and connect this with certain ontologies, depending on the scenarios and the use case they are working on, how to take this data maybe to connect to another external system, so that they can do later basically some operation over it, and so on, and how to create some kind of APIs, no, a RESTful API, so that they can access the data and use it in their context. So in general, this is a little bit what I wanted to present you. So what we try is to bring, I would say, our experience, I would say, in some sense of the project, but also to make them very practical, give the students some kind of advice, provide them a basic tool so that they can manage and easily they can start working. And then the important thing for us also is that most of them, similar to what already was mentioned, is they get interest on this, and then later are able to collaborate with us when they are doing their master PhD thesis, or maybe on the collaboration on ongoing project in that sense. I would say, no. Just to mention that, for example, this year also additionally we have a summer school where we will have 5 days where 3 of them will be basically typical talks and presentation, but 2 of them will be like a practical scenario where we will train with the students the use of this kind of scenarios, and how to use technologies like LoRa, narrowband IoT, etc., in order to get data from existing solution, and then try to manipulate them and use them in the context of the scenarios of the smart city, because this is going to be in collaboration with the municipality and with the smart city project that they already are working on. That's all from my side, Tonia.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, Professor Skarmeta. We are trying to bring on board our CMO, Cristina Brandtstetter, but maybe we have some technical problem. Charlotte, can you try?
I'm here.
Yeah, Cristina is coming.
I'm here.
Okay, the last words to our nice CMO.
Thank you, Tonia. I just wanted to thank all the participants for today to have contributed to this fantastic program. It's really tremendously important to us to move that forward. And we know that it's, of course, it helps also FIWARE to get much more out into the world and show the great things that we're doing. But it's also, I think, a great contribution, and sometimes also maybe a helping hand we can give to universities and to the students themselves to really tap into this world of open source and get much more acquainted with it and learn from it and see where the future actually sits already. And for this, we're actually very proud that we started this activity, roughly a year ago, and formalize it. so that it can really be taken on and grow and grow into the world. So thanks to Massimo, to Antonio, to supporting this activity. We know we have also other great people on board doing this, and we hope we can give something back to students also to see a bright future. And with that, I give the stage back to Tonia. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you, Cristina. Thank you to Professor Skarmeta and Professor Villari. See you next time. Hopefully, the next FIWARE Global Summit, where we have again a physical event. Thank you all. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.
See you.
Goodbye. Thank you. Bye-bye.